Hi, everybody. Mischa here with Word of the Day, and there it is, Adumbrate. This is a tricky word. I'm going to do things a little differently for this one because it's kind of a difficult word. But let me just start out by saying if you remember foreshadowing, you will remember this word, adumbrate. It comes from the Latin for to cast a shadow. It comes into English in 1589 in a book called The Art of Poesy, which is really one of the first standard works on literary criticism for English, in which the writer, George Putnam, says, this is how you write well in English, and this is how you can critique the writings of other people to see if they write well. Now, I'm not going to go into a lot of stuff about George Putnam except to tell you this much. He was probably an Oxford guy. He was a courtier in Renaissance England in the court of Elizabeth I. He was a scoundrel. He was a rogue. He was involved in all kinds of court intrigue and seductions and lawsuits. He's a really interesting guy. But he brought us this amazing book in which, as I said, with literary criticism, you are critiquing English and also telling people how to write better. In this book, he uses the word adumbrate to mean foreshadowing. And you know foreshadowing from when you were in school. Foreshadowing in writing goes like this, right? Especially if they're not being too subtle. Say Shakespeare in Julius Caesar, when at the very beginning of the play, he says he adumbrates, Shakespeare adumbrates what's going to happen later through the mouth of the soothsayer when he says to Julius Caesar, "Beware the Ides of March." And a few acts later, Caesar bites the dust. Okay, now that is one way to use this word, and it is in fact the most common way that you will see it. However, we also use it quite literally in architecture. If an architect is sketching a building that he or she intends to construct later or that is intended for construction, uh, it'll be very light lines and shadows and things like that. That architect is adumbrating the building that he is intending to be built later. Now, you can see that, by the way, very clearly in architecture designs from, or sketches, should I say, in Leonardo da Vinci's sketchbook. He's got a lot of that stuff. Okay, number three, we use it in the law. And it's very, very easy to use. Foreshadowing in the law shows up like this. You could tell by the questions that the Supreme Court asked the lawyers that they adumbrated the eventual decision. You could tell by the questions they asked what direction they were going to go in. It was kind of like foreshadowing. It was foreshadowing. Okay? And the last one, and this will really throw you off because it's a different way to use it. It means to obscure or partially hide. So, for example, you can say the moon was adumbrated by the clouds as they came by. I know it's a lot, isn't it? But if you don't want to use it in the comments, just know that when you see adumbrate, ombra, it means shadow. That will remind you. Okay? And I'll see you later. Remember, if we're going to buy books, let's do our best to buy from independent booksellers. Like if you're going to buy a book like this, The Black Tulip by Dumas. And this adumbrates the future craziness on the cryptocurrency market by telling a story about when the people in Holland went crazy for tulips and were paying insane amounts for them. Okay, that's one. And of course, my favorite book of all time, also by Alexander Dumas, The Count of Monte Cristo buy the Modern Library edition because it's the best by far and it's unabridged. 1,400 plus pages of absolute frickin' tension. Oh, God, it's great. So, buy from independent booksellers if you can, and you can click the link below or above for, here we go, bookshop.org/shop/word of the day. And I'll see you later.